discussing human digestive system, and we have learned about different parts of human digestive system and their functions. Today we have to start with digestive glands. We know that there are three digestive glands in our body: salivary glands, then liver, which is the largest gland, and next one is pancreas. Today we will learn about these three glands.
Apart from the alimentary canal, the digestive system also consists of the salivary glands, liver, and the pancreas, which are collectively known as the digestive glands. The salivary glands, located just outside the oral cavity, secrete salivary juices into the cavity. There are three pairs of salivary glands: the parotid gland, located in the cheek; the submaxillary or submandibular gland, found in the lower jaw; and the sublingual gland, located below the tongue. Rich in electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, chloride, and bicarbonate ions, and various enzymes such as salivary amylase and lysozyme. Each of the salivary components has its own function. For instance, the salivary amylase, a carbohydrate-splitting enzyme, initiates the process of digestion in the oral cavity by hydrolyzing nearly 30% of food starch into a disaccharide or simple sugar called maltose. Lysozyme acts as an antibacterial agent and kills microbes present in food substances, thereby preventing infections. The liver, the largest gland of the body, is located in the abdominal cavity, just below the diaphragm. It has two hepatic lobes. The bile secreted by the hepatic cells passes through the hepatic ducts and is stored and concentrated in the gallbladder. A duct emerging from the gallbladder, along with the hepatic duct from the liver, forms the common bile duct, whose main function is to conduct the bile stored in the gallbladder into the duodenum. Contains bile pigments such as bilirubin and biliverdin, bile salts, cholesterol, and phospholipids. Apart from the liver, the digestive glands also include the pancreas. Situated in the duodenum, the pancreas is a compound and elongated organ consisting of exocrine and endocrine parts. While the exocrine portion secretes an alkaline pancreatic juice containing enzymes, the endocrine portion secretes hormones such as insulin and glucagon. Pancreatic juice consists of inactive enzymes such as trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidases, amylases, lipases, and nucleases. These inactive enzymes are activated by trypsin and chymotrypsin, which are produced when enterokinase, an enzyme secreted by the intestinal mucosa, acts on inactive trypsinogen to form active trypsin and also converts inactive chymotrypsinogen into active chymotrypsin. And pancreatic secretions now start converting complex molecules of the chyme into simpler forms. The pancreatic duct, which carries the pancreatic juices from the exocrine portion, joins the common bile duct, and both of them open into the duodenum as the hepatopancreatic duct, which is guarded by the sphincter of Oddi. Together, the organs of the alimentary canal and the associated glands digest the food we eat and digest the undigested food.
These glands play a very important role in digestion. Without the secretions of these glands, we are unable to digest our food. So start with the second step of photozoic nutrition, that is digestion. First step we have learned previously, that ingestion. Ingestion is the just intake of food. Then second step is digestion. Digestion starts from buccal cavity. Only digestion of carbohydrate is started in the buccal cavity. Digestion in buccal cavity. In buccal cavity, as we put food inside our mouth, food is chewed and masticated with the help of teeth. Ingested food is chewed and masticated with the help of teeth. Then mucus moisten the food and make it soft. Mucus which is present in our saliva, it moistens and lubricates the food and makes it soft so that we can swallow it easily. In mastication, this saliva also contains one enzyme that is called salivary amylase. Salivary amylase helps in the hydrolysis of starch into maltose. It converts starch into maltose. Near about 5% of starch is broken down into the mouth. Then there is no digestion, mechanical or chemical digestion in esophagus and pharynx. Pharynx or esophagus में कोई digestion नहीं है. We just swallow that food and bolus reaches to the stomach through the esophagus with the help of paracentesis movement and enters into the stomach. As soon as food reaches to the stomach, with the help of churning movement of stomach. Churning movement means alternate contraction and relaxation of muscular wall. Churning movement means alternate contraction and relaxation of muscular wall of stomach. The gastric juices are present in stomach. So these gastric juices are mixed with bolus with the help of this churning movement. Juices contain HCl and digestive enzymes. HCl, it kills bacteria which is present in food as soon as this chyme enters into the stomach. Secondly, it makes the medium acidic. It converts alkaline medium into acidic so that these enzymes become activated. Because these digestive enzymes, propapsin, they all are present in inactive form and this HCl convert it into active form. पैप्सिन जो एंजाइम है गैस्ट्रिक जूसेस में वो इनएक्टिव फॉर्म में रहता है और वो एक्टिव फॉर्म में सिर्फ एसिडिक मीडियम में ही आता है. जैसे ही HCl सिक्रीट होता है तो दिस propapsin converted into active form, that is pepsin, and pepsin is responsible for the digestion of protein. And next function of HCl is that it helps in the opening and closing of pyloric aperture. जब लास्ट में खाना स्टमक से हमारे डियोडेनम में जाता है, it is controlled by our sphincter, that is called pyloric sphincter. That opening and closing of pyloric aperture is controlled by HCl. Digestive enzymes contain pepsin, renin, gastric lipase and gastric mucin. These are all digestive enzymes present in stomach. The function of pepsin is to digest protein. It hydrolyzing protein into simpler forms of peptones and proteases. Pepsin is present in stomach in inactive form. That is pepsinogen, or we can say propepsin. It is inactive form. As soon as it comes in contact with HCl, it is converted into active form, that is called pepsin. Pepsin is the active form. This pepsin acts on proteins present in our food, hydrolyzed by pepsin into simpler form, peptones and proteases. The next enzyme present in gastric juices is renin. Renin is also present in inactive form, that is prorenin, which in inactive form is converted into renin, which is active form by HCl. This renin helps in the digestion of milk protein, casein. Casein in presence of renin is converted into paracasein, and which in presence of calcium ion converted into calcium paracaseinate, which is insoluble compound. Calcium paracaseinate is insoluble and Trypsin act on calcium paracaseate and convert it into simpler form, that is proteoses, peptones and polypeptides. Pancreatic enzymes act on these forms and convert it into amino acids. Next enzyme is gastric lipase. It partially hydrolyzes fats into fatty acids and glycerol. And last one is mucin. It helps in the protection of mucous membrane of stomach, जो HCl की वजह से injured हो सकती है. So for this we have mucin, gastric mucin, which protects the stomach wall.
Gastric juices secreted by the gastric glands. These glands are stimulated by the gastrin hormone and inhibited by the enterogastrin hormone, and consist of mainly three types of cells: mucous neck cells, which secrete mucus; peptic or chief cells, which secrete the proenzyme pepsinogen; and parietal or oxyntic cells, which secrete hydrochloric acid and intrinsic factor. The churning of the stomach walls mixes these gastric gland secretions with the bolus, forming a pulp-like substance called chyme.
Small intestine. The first part of the small intestine is duodenum. Duodenum receives bile as well as pancreatic secretion through hepatopancreatic duct. Bile contains bile salts, which makes acidic medium of stomach into alkaline medium. यहाँ पर जो chyme है, that is acidic in nature because of HCl. But as soon as it enters into the duodenum, because of bile secretion, this chyme is converted into chyle and it is alkaline. So the first function of bile juice is it neutralizes acidity. It makes medium alkaline, so that in alkaline medium the pancreatic enzymes can start action on the chyle. In alkaline medium, pancreatic enzymes become active for further digestion. These are the function of bile, and the last function of bile is that it emulsifies fat. Emulsification means that large fat globules are break down into smaller ones for the action of enzymes. This process is known as emulsification. These are the function of bile. Now pancreatic enzymes become activated. They are present in inactive form. There are 5 pancreatic enzymes: chymotrypsinogen, trypsinogen, amylopsin and nucleases. Amylopsin is pancreatic amylase, steatocin is pancreatic lipase, and nucleases and nucleotidases. Now look here, this acidic chyme present in stomach, when it reaches to duodenum, it becomes alkaline with the action of bile juice. Then this alkaline medium activates pancreatic juices, that means trypsin and chymotrypsin. These two acts on proteins present in the chyle. Then they hydrolyzes protein into polypeptides. On polypeptides, next enzyme, that is carboxypeptidase. It acts on polypeptides and hydrolyzes these polypeptides into tripeptides, dipeptides and amino acids. Next enzyme is amylopsin. Amylopsin is pancreatic amylase. Amylase works on carbohydrates. अभी हमने पढ़ा था salivary amylase. Salivary amylase works on starch. तो it acts on remaining starch जो हमारे माउथ में डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो पाई थी, and glycogen, and hydrolyzes it into maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide. Steatocin is gastric lipase and hydrolyzes emulsified fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Then nucleases and nucleotidase enzymes of pancreatic juice hydrolyzes nucleic acids, that are DNA and RNA, into nucleotides and nucleosides. From duodenum, the food reaches to ileum. This part of the small intestine is ileum. In ileum, we have Brunner's gland as well as crypts of liverpore. They both secrete intestinal juice, which is known as succus and mucus. In intestinal juice, we have these enzymes. They act on these substrate. Ellipsin, that is also known as peptidase, acts on polypeptides, tripeptides and dipeptides. पैंक्रेटिक जूस में ट्रिप्सिन, कीमोट्रिप्सिन एंड कार्बोक्सीपेप्टिडेज के एक्शन से हमको मिला था पॉलीपेप्टाइड्स, ट्राइपेप्टाइड्स एंड डाइपेप्टाइड्स. इरिप्सिन और वी कैन से पैप्टिडेज एज एंजाइम के लिए यूज करते हैं. पेप्टाइड्स पे लगने वाला एंजाइम पैप्टिडेज. तो पैप्टिडेज एक्ट्स ऑन दीज एंड हाइड्रोलाइजेस इट इनटू अमीनो एसिड्स व्हिच इज द सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोटीन. देन on maltose, maltase enzyme acts, it hydrolyzes it into glucose. Sucrose पर sucrase enzyme acts on it and hydrolyzes it into monosaccharide. Glucose is also a monosaccharide which our body can absorb. And lactose पर lactase enzyme act करेगा जो convert करेगा इसको glucose और galactose में. Bile ने emulsify किया fats को emulsification के थ्रू. Emulsified fats पर लगाया pancreatic lipase, it breaks down that fat molecule or remaining fat molecules are hydrolyzed into the small intestine through intestinal lipase and convert it into fatty acids and glycerol. Then trypsinogen जो हमारा inactive form था pancreatic juice का वो activate होता है एक और enzyme से that is enterokinase. This is intestinal enzyme. ठीक है. इस एंटेरोकाइनेज एक्टिवेट करेगा ट्रिप्सिनोजिन को इनटू ट्रिप्सिन और ये ट्रिप्सिनोजिन और कीमोट्रिप्सिनोजिन दोनों पैंक्रेटिक एंजाइम है, इनएक्टिव फॉर्म में होते हैं. ट्रिप्सिनोजिन एक्टिवेट होता है ट्रिप्सिन में एंटेरोकाइनेज की प्रेजेंस पे. एंटेरोकाइनेज इंटेस्टाइनल एंजाइम है. Okay, and these are all enzymes. After this, Succus antricus also have nucleases, nucleotidases to act on nucleic acids and convert them into nucleotides and nucleosides. These are all enzymes. आप enzymes कैसे याद करेंगे? maltose पर एक्ट होने वाला एंजाइम है maltase. सुक्रोज पर एक्ट होने वाला है सुक्रेज. ASE का मतलब एंजाइम होता है. एंजाइम की पहचान ये है कि लास्ट में उसमें ASE लगा दिया जाता है उसके नाम में. जैसे माल्टोज पर एक्ट होने वाला माल्टेज, सुक्रोज पर एक्ट होने वाला सुक्रेज, लैक्टोज पर एक्ट होने वाला लैक्टेज. ये तीनों शुगर मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं. फैट्स पर एक्ट करने वाला लाइपेज, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स पर जो एक्ट करता है उसको एमाइलेज कहते हैं. और आफ्टर डाइजेशन इन स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज डाइजेशन इन large intestine. Complete digestion of carbohydrates, fats and proteins occur in only small intestine. In large intestine there is no digestion, only salts and water is absorbed in large intestine. Digested residue is changed into semi-solid fecal matter and then this fecal matter is pushed into rectum. From there it is passed out through anus. This process is known as egestion or also known as defecation. Step in holozoic nutrition is absorption. The maximum absorption occur in small intestine. Some water and soluble foods such as sugar and alcohol absorbed by the stomach wall. So this absorption occur in stomach. Maximum absorption occur in intestine. The end products of carbohydrate, fat and protein are glucose, galactose and fructose, glycerol, fatty acids and amino acids. These are the end products of digestion and these are absorbed in the intestine. We know that in intestine we have finger-like projection that are called villi. Villis have further brushed border-like projections. They are microvillis and in these villi they are highly vascularized. These villi are highly vascularized as well as they are supplied with fine blood capillaries and lacteals. Lacteals and blood capillaries are present in villi. So their glucose, galactose and fructose plus ye amino acid, they both diffuses into blood capillaries. Glucose, galactose, fructose and amino acid, they diffuses into blood capillaries, although glycerol and fatty acids, they are not soluble in water, therefore they are diffused into lacteals. Last part is large intestine. In large intestine we know that only some salts and water is absorbed. The undigested food is egested out of the body, and that process is known as defecation. After that, the last process is assimilation. Assimilation means these nutrients, when diffuses into the blood, they are utilized by our body for our life processes like growth, reproduction, development, wear and tear, reproduction, breathing, and different life processes. The utilization of these nutrients is called assimilation. Glucose is utilized for respiration, in which it yields ions, which we use for different life processes. Extra glucose is converted into glycogen in liver and stored in muscle cells and liver cells. Amino acids are used for the synthesis of protein. These proteins further used for the synthesis of different enzymes and in the formation of various cell organelles. Fatty acids and glycerols are converted into fats. Utilization of nutrients is called assimilation, and the last one is egestion, which we have discussed earlier.
Absorption of food is a crucial event in the digestion process. After complex food has been broken down into smaller components, it needs to be absorbed into the blood and lymph so that it can be transported throughout the body. Although absorption takes place in different parts of the alimentary canal, such as the mouth, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine, maximum absorption occurs in the small intestine. The villi on the intestinal wall increase the surface area of the small intestine and help to efficiently absorb the digested nutrients such as glucose, fructose, amino acids, and electrolytes. These nutrients from the food pass through the intestinal mucosa into the bloodstream and are distributed throughout the body. Unlike carbohydrates and proteins, fats are not absorbed through the intestinal villi. Fatty acids and glycerol are insoluble in water and therefore cannot be absorbed by the intestinal cells directly. They are first acted upon by bile salts to form small spherical droplets called micelles, which can easily move through the intestinal mucosa. As micelles enter the intestinal mucosa, they are coated with protein to form small fat globules called the chylomicrons, which are transported into the lymph vessels called lacteals in the villi. These lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. Besides the small intestine, other parts of the digestive system also play a role in the absorption process. For example, certain drugs are placed in the mouth under the tongue so that they can be absorbed directly into the blood capillaries. The stomach wall directly absorbs certain foods, including simple sugars and alcohol, and they do not remain in the stomach. While water, some minerals such as potassium and sodium, and drugs are absorbed in the large intestine. These absorbed nutrients are transported to different tissues of the body through the blood vessels, and this process is called assimilation. The simple substances produced in the duodenum are absorbed in the jejunum and the ileum regions of the small intestine. On the other hand, the undigested and unabsorbed substances, called feces, enter the cecum region of the large intestine through the ileocecal valve. The feces then travel through the colon, which absorbs water, minerals, and certain drugs in the feces. The colon also secretes mucus, which adheres the undigested waste particles together and also lubricates them for easy passage. The fecal matter enters the rectum, where it is temporarily stored feces. The fecal matter moves towards the rectum due to peristaltic waves in the walls of the colon, which finally eliminates the waste through the anus.
Now in next lecture, we will start with the next topic, that is nutrition in plants. Thank you.